So I used to attend rugby matches and I realized that there was a gap, that the fans who were coming in were not properly kitted. The players were kitted, but not the fans. And I remember that was my first business venture.
You're so shamelessly an entrepreneur.
My goodness. The minute you model Christ-like behavior in business, you're labeled. It means that you're placed somewhere different within the industry. Yeah? As a young person, you have excuses because you're thinking, I need this money, I need to party and all that. It just got to a time where I was feeling like there was an emptiness in my heart. And as I was having those conversations, some of the pastors who were mentoring me at the time, in different circumstances, they start telling me, there's a church that we want to plant and it's in the neighborhood where you live. And freeing up some of my time meant that I would no longer get to do this 8 to 5. The income will reduce. So I had the conversation with my wife and I told her, will you support me? That's when I realized.
Welcome to Fearless Business. It is wonderful to have each and every one of you here, as always, this beautiful Sunday morning for those who are watching this as it premieres. But whatever time you're watching this, we're really glad that you could make time to engage with this content. This is Fearless Business, where we have the conversations that you will not have anywhere else. And I'm David Osijeni. Pastor CJ is what they call me, and I'm really excited to be here as your host. Of course, with me in studio is the very amazing my co-host, Pastor M.
Come on, it's so good to be here. I'm so grateful to be here. And wow, you guys, thank you for trucking with us, walking this journey of fearless business with us. Man, the vision to just see Christians understanding God's principles for their business and for us to start working together to build a community of like-minded fearless businesses. So we're so grateful you're here. And man, thank you for engaging with us on our socials. Thank you for following along. Thank you for all the great comments you've been giving us. We're so blessed by you guys. And man, thank you also for the ones of you who've been volunteering and saying, we'd like to help, we'd like to be participating. Some maybe even saying we want to give something towards this. We will take all the help we can get because we believe this task is bigger than any one of us. And we're so grateful to have so many of you partnering with us, even if it's just by watching and sharing it with your friends. So many people have told us, I've watched this because a friend shared it with me, shared the reel with me. So let's keep being evangelists. Let's keep sharing this good news. Let's make sure every Christian understands there is a different way to do business.
Last week we were here and we learned from Jared how just by serving, there's so much opportunity to learn, so much opportunity to grow. And what you could be doing as a side thing, serving in church or serving in an initiative that may not be paying just yet, may just be the skills that will propel you into your next opportunity, into your next income opportunity. So what's that you have in your hand? Come, let's build something beautiful and amazing together here at Fearless Business. And Pastor M, I wonder what are some of the comments that you've seen from the people who've been watching?
Well, I've not been online today, but I've just been receiving comments, practical comments, just people saying how they are blessed. People saying how they've been watching this. Like we said, there's a couple of churches now that we know that are actually premiering this thing at 8 o'clock every Sunday morning. And we believe many more are going to start, And also just to see people now beginning to reference this conversation. One of the things we've even been talking about is with what we call Mavuno's Fearless Business Networks. That this conversation is going to start being central in those networks as well. So we're saying, how do we start to change the mindset of how we do business? And I believe that by God's grace, we're going to see it.
We're saying we're not keeping this to ourselves. We want to share this with other churches. We want to share this with other communities of faith where we can increase and begin to just transform culture in the business piece to something that is kingdom-oriented, something that is founded on biblical principles. Well, we are featuring business owners, and today we are featuring yet another business leader, and this is the business feature.
I got 'em all shook up for me. I got 'em all shook up for me. I got 'em all shook up for me. I got 'em all shook up for me.
Wow, what an amazing business feature. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with us to the show this amazing gentleman.
Yeah, Victor Gitonga. So Victor is an amazing man. By the way, it's so great to have him in the studio.
Yeah.
We've had some incredible people in the studio so far. We've had people who span different, actually, it seems almost everybody we've had spans different industries. And this man is no different. He is one of the leads in one of East Africa's premier market consulting companies. He does some massive work as a marketing consultant. Basically, I'm trying to get the name of the company. Just remind me, Victor. It's Three-verse. So Three-verse is basically a 360 integrated marketing solutions company that has massive clients here in East Africa. And basically poised to become, I think, a leading company in Africa as well. And these guys are blowing up. And by the way, you're not even that old as a company for the level of business that you're managing. And you know, I'll say this, CJ, I've known Victor for many years.
Yeah.
Everything this man touches gets blessed.
Amazing.
There's some people, I think it's like Pastor Noah, there's some people who are just blessed that they touch different things because it's not the only area I know he's had a business in. He's involved in water. So he's a water utility.
Wow.
So, you know, they say, by the way, I've read books that say, if you want to become wealthy, become a utility company. Become the monopoly. You know, guys like KPLC, everybody pays them. You don't ask about, you just pay them every month.
pay.
And this man has a utility company, which is technology integrated. And so that's something I've known him for years for. I've known him in the beef industry. And that's another major area of investment.
You love your meat.
And I like my meat, so, you know, I need to know the people who are serious in that. But I think he's even at a level higher than mine, the level of production. It's not just normal production he does. Everything he doesn't just do normal. He does it at the next level. He also does, apart from that, of course, there's a marketing company that's a phenomenal company. I'm trying to remember all your, because I remember we count at least 5 things. He does construction. So he's involved in, he has a construction company that does an amazing work with that. And then also he's involved in transport. So he has a transport company that transports construction materials for different companies as well. I mean, this man, he should be laying hands on all of us.
So it's called the full Joseph anointing.
He has a Joseph anointing. And so help us welcome Victor Gitonga.
Thank
you. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank
Now,
you.
in addition to all that, I need to, maybe I forgot the most important part. He's also an associate pastor at Mavuno Connect.
Look at that.
So it's amazing because we're finding all these great entrepreneurs who are also shepherds of God's people, who've also understood that, you know what, being a discipler, being a pastor, and being a business person, those are not two different worlds.
Yeah.
Actually, the best pastors are the best entrepreneurs, and the best entrepreneurs are the best pastors. And I think there's just an integration there that we're seeing in this show.
Wow.
Yeah. So karibu sana, Victor.
Thank you so much.
It's great to have you on the show.
Really glad to be here.
And I know it was interesting because I told you, I've actually had you in mind as one of the people I'd love to have on this show.
Yeah.
And so it was just God's providence that this worked out for you to be here with us today.
Thank you so much.
So karibu.
Asante.
Yeah.
You know, just listening to you, there's a friend of ours and also a pastor in Uganda, Apostle Moses Mukisa. And one of the things he says is you can earn money in different ways.
Yes.
You can have a beep every month.
Yeah.
Beep. And he used the analogy of the supermarket. When you're standing in the supermarket, what's one sound you keep hearing? The beeping of the tills.
Yes.
He says you can either have one beep every month, or you can have multiple beeps. Beep, 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 or you can have multiple beeps a day. Decide how you want to do it. That's up to you.
Because the owner of that supermarket, every beep he's earning his salary, isn't it? He's earning an income. But for you, maybe it just comes once a month. So, like, were you always a multi-entrepreneur? Like, were you always, because like some people struggle to think, how do you even start a successful business? So when we find people who are running multiple successful businesses, you always wonder, were they born like that? Were their parents, like, do they come from a dynasty of just phenomenal business people? Is that your background? How did you end up being an entrepreneur?
So interesting that you asked that question because at some point I also asked myself this question. How did I get to, where I am right now, where, I run a few businesses. And as I was thinking about that, I remembered that my father exposed me to his friends from a very early age. Yeah, so there's a lot of mentorship there. So right from when
Was your
we were
father in
young-
business?
partly in business, but also employed.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was a career civil servant, retired as a civil servant as well, but also a business person. Yeah. But interestingly, some of his closest friends were in business. And so we would go visiting them, and I would see a lot of, things they would do as business people, how they carried themselves. And one of the things I learned is that I think the people who were in business were the ones who had more money than the ones who were in employment. Yeah.
Seller.
So even as a
Ponder on this moment.
yeah.
Ponder
So
on
as a
that
small boy, I could pick it out, So it's these people who are in business who seem to be changing cars regularly. Yeah, it's the people who are in business who seemed to be moving to bigger houses. And so I think that had an influence in my life, and I started telling myself, I think I want to be in business, when I'm done with school and all that.
So a very powerful lesson there. Expose your children.
Yeah.
Like don't hold your networks will become their net worth.
Very
So you can actually give your children a leg up, not just money, but you can actually help them by connecting them with your peers who are good influences. So expose your children to these peers. And then secondly, I identify with you because my father was a civil servant and I saw the difference you're talking about. I actually noticed his friends who were entrepreneurs at the beginning probably struggled.
Struggled.
But then at some point you realize, there's a difference.
Yes, yeah.
A visible difference.
So that was the thing that set you off.
Yeah.
And then you went through school, but you didn't start as an entrepreneur, did you?
No, I didn't start as an entrepreneur. I went through school, and then I remember when I went to university, and there was a lot of free time in university, and I realized all of a sudden that there were so many opportunities around me. So I'm very passionate, like you, about rugby. By the way, Pastor and I went to the same high school.
Can you believe it?
We should only mention.
Yeah. So I think that's where a passion for rugby comes from. And so I used to attend rugby matches, and I realized that there was a gap, that the fans who were coming in were not properly kitted. The players were kitted, but not the fans. And I remember that was my first business venture. I started producing T-shirts.
By the way, you're so shamelessly an entrepreneur.
My goodness. In high school, I was not thinking about hitting hands.
People are watching the game. You are watching the fans.
So yes, I saw the gap in high school. I saw the gap in uni, and
This
it's in
is
uni.
high school.
So yeah, but I commercialized it in uni.
Okay.
In uni, that's where I commercialized it. So I was like, okay, they're not kitted. And I started, making T-shirts, having, funky taglines and all that.
The colors of the...
Yes, of the different teams and all that. And I started making money that way. Yeah.
So uni, you're a full-fledged entrepreneur.
Exactly. So on one side I was studying, and on the other side I was doing my T-shirt business, which was doing well at the time and was giving me a little money on the side. And then, so later on I clear and I would go into the corporate world. And so in the corporate world, I worked for a couple of, blue chip companies.
And this was in marketing?
In marketing as well. So I'm a career marketer, so all through. And then even as I was there, I was very clear that I wanted to get into business full time. And so, but also I think some of the mentors that I've had in my life always told me that it's important that you get employed, because you get to understand how businesses are run. And it's even better when you're employed in businesses that are run properly. Because you get to learn about process, you get to learn about what to do, what not to do. You get to learn about how to deal with people, and so that's part of the reason why I enjoyed being employed.
For you, it was actually intentional.
Exactly.
Knowing you're going to step out, but this is an important part of my education.
Yes. And I remember, one of the mentors that I had earlier on telling me that by the time you're stepping out of employment, make sure you already have passive income. Because you might get into business and then the income doesn't come, what happens? And probably you have a family and all that. So that's something else that I did when I was in employment, just saving up to make sure that there's a bit of passive income. So when you talk about the water business, which you commissioned, Pastor M, that was part of me making sure that I had passive income, so that even if after I stepped out of employment, there was something to keep me and my family going as I was waiting the waters.
There are two things I don't want us to lose there.
Yeah.
One, you keep mentioning your mentors. I know the other person I've had mentioning their mentors that much is this man here, Pastor M. The people who had gone before you, people you were listening to.
Yes.
And the other thing you just touched on just now is have passive income. And maybe just unpack it a bit about passive income. What are you reading?
So, without using too much English, basically what I mean is make sure you have an investment that gives you money, either daily or at the end of the month or quarterly, without you having to put in too much time and effort, in running. So, for example, if it's a shop that requires you to be there every morning, let's open the doors, that's not passive, But if it's, say, an example here, you have some rental units that are giving you at the end of the month 10,000 shillings, and you don't have to be there every day. That's a bit passive. So that's what I mean.
Now, I love that because what you're saying to a young person watching this show, and I know there are some young people watching this show, is when you get your first job, you don't use that job to upgrade your lifestyle. Because if you have a goal, you're saying, I need to have in the next 5 years, 10 years, some rental units or some passive income that will enable me to step into my own. I now it pays me while I do what I want to do. And so if I know that, then it means I can't live on everything. I'm putting aside enough capital and invest for investment so that I can actually step aside. Because if I'm eating everything I'm consuming, if I'm consuming everything I'm earning, then there's no way I'll ever be able to have that. I'll step out of business, the same of employment, the same way I entered, with nothing.
Yeah. And just to take you back to my mentors and my dad being one of my mentors. I remember when I got my first job, one of the things that my dad actually brought home in the first month of employment were SACO forms. He said, you need to join a SACO. So, saving. Start saving. And so I started saving, I think, from month 2 or month 3, and so I learned how to operate, not with 100%, but with much less than 100%. And so I think one of the things that for me was very clear is that if you live on less, then tomorrow you'll have enough, to pursue your dreams because you already have some savings.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm hearing something interesting about the role of the parent. I think sometimes as parents would fall into the trap of saying, it's this generation of these days, these young people of these days, but have we modeled? Have we pointed them in the right direction? The dad didn't tell you, go find a SACO.
No,
he brought
the
forms.
Yes, he brought
And he's
the
done the
forms.
research, he knows this is a good one. He said, let me bring them to him.
Actually, he was a member of a SACO, so he brought forms from his SACO.
From his own SACO, joining, not
I remember, as a young person, you have excuses because you're thinking, I need this money, I need to party and all that. And
I've been waiting for this salary for a long time.
And then he told me, no, you need to start saving, because if you don't start saving now, what it means is that you will get used to living with 100% of what you're earning. And taking a step back to start living on 70% will become very difficult.
What did that do for you? Starting saving literally month 3 of your first job.
Yes.
What did that do for you?
I think what it did for me is that it gave me freedom in the future. Yeah, so at that point, I didn't really feel that it was giving me freedom.
Your freedom was being curtailed.
It was being curtailed, but I think I was able to pursue interests, that I couldn't have pursued much later on, because then I had some savings. Let me give you another example. So the other thing is my parents, and I keep on mentioning them because I think they had a critical role to play in shaping the kind of man that I am right now. Again, I got the job, and I thank God that I didn't have to struggle so much to get employment out of uni. Like right now, it's a struggle for most young people. And so I get the job, and what was happening at the time is my friends would get a job, and the first thing they would do is move out of their parents' house, move into your own house, because you're independent, you're old enough. Freedom has come. But I remember my mom and dad sitting me down and saying, you know what, actually, my dad had built a small house, outside his house, and I'd said, move there. When you move there, you won't pay rent. But you'll be able to save. He told me, the thing is, if you move into your own house, it's not just about the rent. There are so many other expenses that, And so what happened is, because for a year, I lived there for a year. By the time I was moving into my own house, I had everything. Wow. So I remember, in the first month, apart from the saving, I bought a stereo. A proper stereo.
It's important.
It's important, but I bought it.
A young man must release a sound of freedom.
Yes. The second month, I think I bought a fridge. Third month, I bought a cooker. So by the time
So you were planning ahead.
Exactly.
This is a theme in your life.
Yes.
Plan ahead.
By the time I moved into my bachelor pad, it had everything fully kitted, 100% kitted. Yes. And I didn't have to take a loan to buy those things, as opposed to maybe my peers who moved out immediately, and then they either struggled to keep their houses or they had to take up loans to those things.
Well, this is a masterclass in parenting. Huh? But even as you go ahead then, so you get into employment, and that's your skill acquisition years. You're working in all these high blue chip companies, learning about business at that high level. What tells you now it's time for me to transition into entrepreneurship?
So, a few things. So one, remember, I had worked closely with my dad as a young boy. Yeah. And so I had always known how to listen to the voice of a mentor because he was the mentor in my life. And so even as I got into employment, I started looking for mentors within the companies where I was employed in. Yeah. By the way, some of them did not even know they were mentors.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would carve in time, I would have lunch, and I would listen to one or two things, that they would tell me, and I would take those as mentorship.
How would you get into that lunch space?
Just saying, it's Friday, we don't eat lunch in the company, can we go have fish?
So you just walk with.
You just walk with somebody, and within that 1 hour when you're having fish, they will tell you, oh, by the way, true story. My first plot, I bought it in Nanyuki. It was one of my boss's boss, 2 levels above, who told me, oh, there's some plots in Nanyuki, you young man.
Over lunch.
Yeah, you young man. I think this would be good for you, And that's how I got to buy my first plot. Yeah.
So hang around with those people.
Yes.
Those mentors, people who will be able to speak into your life.
Yes, but even as you're hanging around them, you also have to listen, because you can hang around, the lessons pass, but you do not
You have
listen.
things to say.
Or you do not pick out the lessons, you think you're a know-it-all.
Because you're the one telling them things.
Exactly. These guys have gone ahead of you. And so there's something they know that you probably don't know. One of the things I'm passionate about mentorship, and so when I'm mentoring young people, one of the examples I give them is, you have been through high school. You're probably in university right now. You can advise a child who's in high school because you've been there.
Yeah.
And you tell them, if you walk this path, then you will make this mistake. So you'd rather take this other alternative. And so your question, Pastor M, was what made me now realize the time to transition had come. I think, as I was saying, I was busy putting up investments so that I would have a bit of passive income. And I was having a conversation with my wife.
Because by this time you're married.
By this time I'm married, I am a father, I have children and all that. And then it just got to a time where I was feeling like there was an emptiness in my heart. Yeah, there was an emptiness in my heart. And I remember at the time, I was talking to my boss during, the performance review sessions, and everything was going on fine. Yeah. But I would tell them, there's just some emptiness that I'm feeling. Yeah, it's like something is missing in my life, And as I was having those conversations, some of the pastors who were mentoring me at the time, 2 of them actually, in different circumstances, they start telling me, there's a church that we want to plant, and it's in the neighborhood where you live. Oh, there's a church that we want to plant, and it's in the neighborhood that you. And we think you would be one of the people that want to really support that ministry. But in my head, I'm like, but I'm so busy, I'm in full-time employment. This thing requires time and all that, And so I think what happened is, I realized that for me to go and take up that opportunity that God was calling me for, I needed to free up some of my time. Yeah. And freeing up some of my time meant that I would no longer get to do this 8 to 5. Yeah. I would go focus more on business, but I would also free up time for ministry. Yeah. So that's exactly what I did, But I had a conversation with my wife first. Because you don't make this decision and then you go back and say,
I have decided
Yes,
to follow Jesus
because
wherever he leads.
It can go either way. It can go either way. So I remember I had a conversation with her and I told her, this is what I'm hearing God telling me, And by the way, it was confirmed by a third person. Remember, I told you there are these 2 pastors who were telling me this, and then it was confirmed by a third person. And at that time, I was like, okay, I actually need to get into ministry. Yeah. So I had the conversation with my wife, and I told her, this is what I'm hearing. I want to take this step of faith. Will you support me? Because supporting me means that the income will reduce for now. There's a salary that we've been getting, which will no longer be coming into the family pot. You might have to step in and support as well until we get things. But also there's ministry that I'm doing, and that requires your support as well. So we prayed over it, and then eventually God answered, and we said, okay, this is it. Wow. And we went ahead, and I transitioned into
man, that's
business.
So crazy, because a lot of people a lot of our Christian professionals, we don't think this way. We almost think that, my job is to always be in corporate until the day I retire, as opposed to having that kingdom mindset of, I'm here because God has put me here for a reason. And God will also call me out of here when it's time for me to move in, because I'm here to serve His kingdom.
Yeah.
Very
So
true.
even in the corporate you're in, you're serving God. You're there to serve God's kingdom and His agenda.
Yes, yes.
So now, when you start thinking like this, I'm assuming like your faith journey. At what point along this does it start? Were you a Christian all along? Were your parents Christians?
So I was a Christian all along because, you know, I was brought up in church. I was brought up in church, you know, right from Sunday school, high school and all that. But I must say that when I went into uni, I was not a practicing Christian. Yeah. And not to say that I joined a different religion, but I stopped being as passionate as I was. Yeah, I think I was swept away. Yeah. And then I get into employment, I start working, I joined the corporate world. I think when I became now a husband and a father, and again, I went back into mentorship and I started following other people.
Yeah.
That's when I realized, oh my goodness, this thing is beyond me now.
Yeah.
I have a wife, I have children who are dependent on me, and I am the priest of the household.
Yeah.
You know, so I need to actually rededicate my life to Christ. Yeah. And so I think that's when I realized that I needed to deepen my faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I realized I needed to deepen my faith. And part of deepening my faith, it wasn't just about rededicating my life to Christ, but it was also looking for mentors, you know, men and women of God that I would walk the journey with. Yeah. And Pastor M, you're one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's been a joy, by the way. I've always marveled at this guy.
Yeah, yourself and Pastor Carl.
And it's been such a joy being part of your journey, because I've always marveled at I remember you leaving employment, getting into that space of business.
Yeah.
And how do you enter? Because one day you're talking about this, you're doing it well. Then the next time I come, you've had a new idea. And it's like I'm putting structures here. Like, how did you end up becoming this multipreneur? How did these different things come along? Were they all connected, or has it been different problems you're seeing that you're solving?
So, you know, our God is a God of seasons. Yeah. And I'm a strong believer in seasons. Yeah. And so I listen to God. And when you listen to God, He directs your footsteps in a certain direction, especially if you're fully surrendered to Christ and you're telling me, use me as your vessel, you know, point me in the direction that you actually want me to walk. Yeah. And so, in fact, let me just go a step back. You're asking me about the transition. The thing is, if you're also disobedient, if you're telling God, I'm fully surrendered, point me the direction that you want me to walk, and then He points you and you disobey, there are consequences. Yeah? So, for example, when I was having that conversation about, is it really time for me to transition? Is it not? You know, I remember one of the things that happened is that boss who was very supportive got transferred. In fact, she got a promotion. I got another boss who was not supportive at all. Yeah? Yeah.
It's really telling
Complete
you.
opposite.
And this was really telling, okay, I think it's time. You know, yeah. So anyway, I think how I got myself into the different businesses that I run is it's just one thing leading to the other. I think the first business you mentioned, how I got into water and being a supplier.
Is that that was your first serious?
Yes, that was the first serious enterprise. Is I saw that there was a need. The people of God needed water in the community where I lived.
Where you lived,
Yeah, and I could have done one of two things. You know, become a complainer, saying, "Oh, the government has not brought us water here," or I could have done something about it. And so again, I went and had a discussion with my wife, and I said, "Okay, there is an opportunity here. No one has water." Yeah, and we are some of the pioneers in this community. Yeah, why don't we sink a borehole and supply water to the people of God?
Which
and in
is,
doing
by the
that,
way,
yeah.
how it is intended.
Yes, that's how
That
it's
if you
intended.
sink a borehole,
Yeah.
within a kilometer radius, you should not, no one else should have to dig a borehole.
Exactly.
You should supply.
Exactly. So that's exactly what
That's
we
actually
did.
in our policies as a country.
Yes, yes, which is what we did. So we sank, but interestingly, it was not a solution that we were solving or finding for ourselves as a family. It was for the community. That was right from the onset. That was the intended intention. And so we supplied water, and yeah, so overnight the community now had water. And then, so that was one business. And then we realized that, you know what, this water business, there are certain gaps. I think before you get into any business, you also have to do your research. You know, what are the pros, what are the cons, what are the challenges that people who are in this business already experience. And one of the challenges that we realized people in that business were experiencing was billing. you know, billing. So you have supplied water to your community, that's fine. Pastor CJ, you're one of the clients, and I put a meter, and at the end of the month, there's a meter reader, there's a bill that comes, and then you say, 5,000, no, this is not me, I am not paying.
Collection.
Yeah, meanwhile.
I say, I'd rather be paid in advance.
Yes.
Because collection is a whole business.
Is a
by
whole,
itself.
exactly. And I remember at the time I was employed and I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't have the time to start dealing with all these people or chasing people or, you know, sending, what are they called? The people who come, debt collectors. Yes. And I said to myself, surely there must be a solution. Yeah, there must be a solution. And I got researching. That's the other thing. I think in business, you always have to research, you know. Don't be comfortable with what everybody else is offering. And when I started researching, I realized that there were solutions in India, there were solutions in China, there were solutions in America about how you can actually automate distribution of water. And that's how we got into automation of metering.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And quickly I got in touch with one of the companies that I saw online. I got in touch with that company based in a place called Hangzhou in China. And sometimes you have to take bold moves. I told my wife, I'm going to Hangzhou, China. Yeah, not Guangzhou, Hangzhou. Yes.
Even I've never heard of Hangzhou.
It's a very far away place. Yeah.
Very far.
There's first getting to China, then there's getting to Hangzhou.
Yeah. But these guys are like, oh, this is where we're based. And I say that
You come or you
I
stay?
will actually go so that I get to see what the solution looks like and I see how I can set up the solution again for the country, because there are other vendors who also
Who
don't
are
have
having
that.
the same.
Yes.
And
So
there's something there about
Yeah.
solving the problem, first solving a problem you have, and then seeing the opportunity to solve it for others. Because if you're facing that challenge, it's very possible that there are other people
exactly.
going through the same thing.
Yes, and I've realized that every time you're solving a solution, not just for yourself, but for others, there's a way that God just deposits acceleration in that solution. Yeah, it happens. When you step out of selfishness and into selflessness, acceleration just checks in.
Which is really Christ-likeness.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. And so I got on a plane, went all the way, met the guys, and I told them, this is who I am. This is can you offer the solution? I said, hey, fine, we'll offer the solution. Yeah. It was so far that it was the first time that I was on a plane where I was the only black person.
That's how far it was.
That's how far it was, yeah.
But they spoke English when you got there.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. They spoke English, yeah. But long and short of it, I think the businesses, it's just one, and then you see another solution that is tied to another. Exactly, and another one, and another one, and another one. Somewhere along the line, some of the businesses also die natural deaths.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to accept that as well. Yeah, Pastor M, you mentioned about, a beef venture.
Yes.
And we had invested in this feedlot business way before anyone started doing feedlots, yeah. And it was quite a sizable enterprise and it was doing well. And then COVID checks in 2020. And the beef that we were supplying was going into all these premium hotels. And all of a sudden, the hotels were closed.
Hotels are closed.
Yes, hotels are closed. So there is no demand for what you're offering.
Yeah.
And so we had to make a call and say, okay, this one is dying a natural death, at least for that time. Yeah. I think you have to also be flexible.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to listen to what God is telling you. When He tells you, move from this into this other thing,
Yes.
then you go and do exactly what you
Journey of faith.
Journey of faith.
So speaking about journey of faith, how have you found, you've talked about the fact that for you pray and listen to God in terms of business direction.
True.
So that's clear from what you've said so far. What are other ways your business has distinguished you your faith has distinguished you as a business person? What are other ways that being a Christian has impacted how you do business?
Okay. So I think one of the things that I'm very clear about in my mind is that business is not just about profit. It's about people, it's about purpose, it's about impact. Yeah, those three. People, purpose, and impact. Yeah. And so if you start with people, yeah, how you manage the people that you're working with, so be they suppliers or your employees or even your clients, determines what they see in you. Yeah. And what they see in you will set you apart positively or negatively. Yeah.
Wow.
So if you want to be set apart positively, then that's an opportunity for you to model what Christ-like behavior is all about. Yeah. And so for me, I am very clear. So if you come to my business, they call me pastor, because they see what I model. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that I will not have tough conversations with you. If there's a performance issue, I will. Yeah. But I model Christ-like behavior. Yeah. Because it's very clear.
And Christ removed a whip at some point.
Exactly.
But they're calling you pastor not because you're preaching at them.
Yes.
But because they look at you and they're saying there's something different about this.
There is something different.
love that.
Yeah, there is something
Do
different.
people at your workplace call you pastor?
Yeah.
Because there's something different about you.
Why they call you pastor?
Yes. There's something different. Yeah. So people
Focusing on people.
focus on people. Yeah. Focus on people and be a shepherd. You know, there's what's his name? Pastor the Savannah.
Noah.
Pastor Noah.
Yeah.
Pastor Noah. I remember I listened. He was on this set as well. And one of the things that he said is that your employees, that's your congregation. Yeah. And I really resonated with that, you know. And it doesn't mean that because they're your congregation that you have to hold the Bible every morning and preach to them. It's how you live your life within that work environment. That's how you're ministering to them.
The letters that Paul talks about.
Exactly, yeah. So that's how you're ministering to them. So I think you need to ask yourself, how am I modeling Christ in the way that I am running my business? Yeah. And even if I'm employed, how am I modeling Christ in the way that I'm an employee to my employer? Yeah. And then what is your purpose? You know, can it be seen? Can it be seen in the way that you're running your business? Yeah.
Purpose means your divine purpose.
Your divine purpose.
The reason God put you there.
Exactly. And for me, I am very clear. I am here to know God and to make Him known. And therefore, all the opportunities that He has given me, all the platforms that He has given me, I make sure that I use them to make Him known.
God and to make Him known.
Yes. And that's how you get the impact now. Kingdom impact. It comes automatically. Yeah.
Now, speaking of impact, one of the things that you've spoken about so far is how you were mentored. And I realized that you and your wife have actually made mentorship something that is almost second to your DNA. As in, it's why so much time spent on mentoring others, whether in business or just in life?
So, Pastor CJ, we are blessed to be blessings to others. Yeah. And so we have had the opportunity of being mentored, you know, by many couples, Pastor Amy and Pastor Carol being one couple that has really mentored us. And so it's only fair that if you're blessed, then you bless others.
And you bless others.
We have seen the positive impact that mentorship has had in our family. Yeah. And for us, we believe in being selfless. And so what that means, if someone has poured, into you, then you need to pour. Pour into somebody else. Overflow. And the challenges that we have had, it doesn't mean that we have never had challenges in our marriage. You do have challenges, but when a mentor couple helps you navigate through that and you come out successfully, then now you actively and intentionally start to look for other couples that you can actually also help get out of that, web that they might probably be finding themselves in. So I think that's part of the reason why we are really passionate about that, because we've been blessed by others and we believe that we also have to bless others. But also we believe that no one should have to go through a challenge that we've gone through. They can take the lesson from us. They can take the lesson from us and also pass it on to the next person. And that's how together we move up as a unit. I
mean, this is so powerful because you're multifaceted, if I can say it. You're here running businesses, you're mentoring people, you're being a pastor in a church. It's like your life has it's that place of impact that you're talking about. That you're in a space where as you're serving people, as you're making money, there's also eternal impact as well, What are some of the challenges, and I'm sure you faced, because you've been in quite a few sectors, being a Christian in business? We've been asking this question this month because this has been a month when we've interviewed several entrepreneurs who are Christians. What have your particular spaces of difficulty been as a Christian, like in the marketplace, the challenges you face precisely because of your faith?
I think there are quite a number, long list. But if I'm just to mention a few is, the minute you model Christ-like behavior in business, you're labeled. And when you're labeled, it means that you're placed somewhere different. within the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it means that there are some times that certain deals you will not be exposed to those deals.
People will not, just
Yeah.
this one is not for that one.
This one is not for that one, and it could be lucrative, and you can do the business in the right way within that deal, and you will. But because they know that there's something that they want to get out of the person who will win the tender, they
It's not even
exclude you.
brought towards you.
It's not even brought to your attention. Yeah, and so sometimes there are business opportunities that will miss you. Yeah, but one of the things that I've come to learn is even when there are some business opportunities that will bypass you, God always gives you many more. Yeah, God always gives you many more. So let me give you a perfect example. So obviously when you're a business person, you're always hunting for business, sending out tenders or pitches and all that, and you have to present, and many times you make a presentation and you think this one, we have won it.
We've won it.
Yeah.
Ours.
Everyone's
It has
different.
our name
Yes,
written on
yes,
it.
yes. And sometimes they don't even get you a regret letter. They don't send you a regret letter. You only get to hear that another agency was appointed or another company was appointed. Yeah. And so I remember last year we went through such a phase. There's some business that we were chasing, one of the big corporates in Kenya. And we put in blood and sweat, hard work. And I can tell you.
No tears.
That's it.
And a lot of tears, everything. Yeah. And I can tell you, based on when I look at what we put together, it was an award-winning, proposal. Yeah. And we did the pitch in a brilliant way. And I expected us to, at the very least, be at the top 3.
Surely.
Yeah, surely. Yeah. At the very least. And you know what? We never even got a regret. We were told someone else was appointed. Yeah. And later on, I got to understand that, it was just optics, sending out the 10. They had already selected someone. Exactly. Yeah. And many months later.
Wasted a lot of your time.
Exactly. So we wasted a lot of time and resources and all that. And many months later, yes, they did send an email to say you're not successful, but as a formality. I think it was just before audit, and someone said, did we send? Yeah, let's send. Anyway. So that happened.
I worked in an industry where when was the thing supposed to end?
Yes.
3 people have already sent a message.
Yes.
You guys have not told us. We are hearing you've awarded.
Yes.
Girls.
Yes. And so that happened. And was it a depressing moment? Maybe it was. I think depressing is a very strong word, but there was sadness, definitely. And so that one didn't come through. But right around the same season, after we had gotten the news and someone else had been appointed, I get a call from Uganda, I get a call from Uganda, and a client says, oh, by the way, there's work we have seen that you have done for a different client. And we like that work. Are you sure you guys are the ones who did this work? And they're like, yeah, we're the ones who did it. You're sure? I'm like, yeah, we're the ones who did this work.
As if you're not sure.
Exactly. Yeah, and they say it's really good work. And unfortunately, I can't disclose the company, but it's a really big company. Yeah. And they say, we would want you to do this kind of work for us. Oh, okay. Yeah, would like you to do this kind of work for us. Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, and can you come and just make a presentation to us on how, the approach that you would take and costings and all that?
Do nothing.
And so I asked the question, are you also considering other people?
Yeah.
And I said, if you're the ones who did the work we saw, we're not considering anyone else. Look at that.
Sourced.
It was a single sourced engagement.
I love it.
Yeah. So yes, on one hand, we lost, the big one that we thought would come. But now we got another one where we didn't have to sweat. That's what I'm saying. Even when such things happen, God, if you have God at the center of your business, He always points you in the direction that He wants you to go.
I love it.
And so, that happened. We got awarded, we did the work, and it's opened other doors in that country as well. Wow. Yeah. But I also believe this thing I call mentorship.
Yes.
Something else that I picked out when Pastor Noah was talking, is humility. He's an accomplished business person. Extremely accomplished.
Entrepreneur is the
But I suspect the first time people say they're like, sure.
Yeah, but for me,
he's so understated, you'd easily pass him.
Exactly. He's so understated, you would easily pass him. I have seen how he is with Apostle Mukisa. He humble. He carries his bag when he has to. That humility. And as he's doing that, in following his shepherd, God has a way of just opening doors. You know, God has a way of opening doors. And I remember at that point when we went into Uganda and we won the business, I remember calling, one of my pastors, and I told them, you know what, I have just realized, as I am following Pastor M, who is my mentor, and Pastor M and Pastor Apostle Mukisa are like this door was opened a long time ago in Uganda. There's just something divine that happens, And so when you humble yourself enough to be mentored, then there are certain shoes you will get to wear that you'll not have worn if you would not have humbled yourself to that level.
So right, I was telling Pastor some time back, the way the Holy Spirit just lands on you with a certain realization.
Yeah.
And I remember I just went to him and said, I am sitting in spaces, walking in spaces. I'm so glad I said yes to this opportunity.
Yeah.
Because there's a level you reach and you see things happening and you say, me, I know me. And this is not me.
Yes.
I must be riding on something greater
Yeah.
than
Wow.
So
This can only be God.
This has become the mentorship episode. And I love that you keep coming back to it, because I feel like with every guest, there's been a space that they swung back to. It feels like it's been a theme for you since you're a kid. It's like this is. So now I'm just thinking there's somebody watching this, and I'd love to just maybe speak into that mentorship space a little bit. As kingdom entrepreneurs, if mentorship is that important for us, because it's a factor of discipleship. For the person who is watching this, who's a younger person, how do I identify and get in the radar of a good mentor? Because mentors tend to be busy, they tend to be accomplished. The people I admire, they probably will have no time for me. How do I get into their radar? How do I get mentored? How do I find someone to mentor me? And then maybe on the other hand, maybe I'm an older guy, or maybe I'm just this person who they are younger people I should be also discipling. How do I begin to identify the people that I mentor? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if you have a thought about that.
Yeah, I do have a thought about that. And I think I will start with the older person, the more accomplished person. Do not be selfish. Be selfless. Yeah, being selfless means that you need to be intentional about looking for people to mentor.
Right.
Yeah, because you always find yourself in an environment where mentees are there just waiting for you. As you rightly put it, Pastor M, it is the mentors who are most of the times very busy. Yeah, but make sure that you're intentional about creating time.
Yeah.
So if you're in a position of authority, for example, it's in your business, are you creating time for your employees to come in and just sit with you for an hour and talk about life, Because that's how you get to mentor them, yeah? Or are you always so busy that the only time you can talk to them if you're talking about numbers and performance and profits,
And what they've not done.
and what they have not done, So I'll give you an example. Just this week, I was doing a performance review, for one of our staff members who has joined us about 3 months ago. And, I can tell you, we only spent about 10% of the time talking about their performance. And the rest of the time, we spent talking about them as a person and what we can do to make sure that they're getting better.
Lift them up.
Lift them up, We ended up talking about, the Bible and the fact that all lessons, all answers to all the questions that you have are in the Bible as well. So you see, it's about being intentional, but also creating time and making sure that you're approachable. Because that's the other thing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, are you approachable? I shared this at a family night this week. Couples and Money. I know many people know about Couples and Money, the program by Pastor M and Pastor Caro. I got into Couples and Money. I was in the second cohort. It is my boss at the time who recommended Couples and Money. And it was during a performance review session.
Wow.
Yes. And it is not that my
That is
marriage...
somebody who understands assignment.
Exactly. By the way, my marriage was not on the rocks at the time. Yeah. But even...
They're like, I want to improve you.
Yeah. I said, oh, by the way, have you heard about Couples and Money? I said, no. And it's like, Pastor Emma hasn't told you. Oh, no. It's called Couples and Money. So she and her husband had been in the first cohort, yeah? And I really want you to sign up, yeah? And we immediately signed up, and Couples and Money has had a huge positive impact, in our marriage. But also, I think now I'm speaking to the younger person. I was willing to listen. Yeah, because she could have told me that, and I say, I know what are you saying, this thing, no. We're supposed to be discussing work and only work here.
It's not the right time.
I was willing to listen. So I think one of the challenges that I've seen with young people, and no offense to young people, I have been young myself, is that sometimes you think you know everything. Yeah, but remember, the people who are older than you, the people who have walked ahead of you, there are critical lessons that they have picked out, which you are yet to pick out.
Yeah.
So listen and be willing to implement what they are telling you.
Wow.
Yeah. So be intentional about picking your mentors as well. Yeah.
Yes.
And the mentors are all around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So if you're employed within your employment circle, you will be able to see. By the way, God has a way of just pointing you in the direction of someone. It is this guy called Pastor CJ. He's probably not even in my department, but I have noticed when we have lunch, we relate somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be intentional about sitting with them over lunch hour.
Yeah.
When you go on those company retreats, be intentional about being in the same group with them because there are things. And then at some point, just tell them, I want you to mentor me.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't have to be so formal that it's every 2 weeks, whatever. So let me tell you one of the things that my wife and I do to Pastor Carol and Pastor M. Yeah, we ask them, are you around? Can we pass by your office?
Nice.
Because we know if we say, oh, it's Friday, 3 p.m., they'll probably be busy, you know? And yes, sometimes they're available, sometimes they are not. But when they are available, we make sure we milk that opportunity. You know, that true 3 hours that you sit down with them, you milk and you pick out lessons. You know, you pick out lessons. Yeah. So for the older person who is more established, be intentional about mentoring.
Yeah.
But for the younger person, be intentional about looking for mentors, but also listen. Don't be a hard-headed person. Listen. Put into practice what you're being told. Yeah. But even more importantly is that make sure that you have a foundation. Yeah. A foundation with God. Yeah. So do you have a relationship with God? Because I have come to realize that as long as you have a very strong foundation, you have a relationship with God. He is the one who points you in the direction that He wants you to go.
That
I love it. Yes.
Yeah. You know, what you're saying, one of the things Pastor M asked is, how do I catch the attention of a mentor? They can be hard to catch. Many times they're in spaces that you don't even have access to. And I found the easiest way is to serve.
Very true.
Find a way to serve. It could be noticing they need something and just going and getting it for them. And sometimes you need to go through someone else, but find excuses to serve them. As you serve your mentor, you suddenly gain unlimited access.
Very true.
Pastor M and Pastor Carol loved on us for many years. They knew us by name long before we knew they knew us by name. But one of the things that was amazing is when we started serving them, our access became almost unlimited.
Very true.
And where our relationship is now, from where it was now, when I call him Paps, it's for real.
Yeah, it's for real.
Because we've grown closer. We've grown closer. We've come from, I'm just that guy they know, to we are sons and daughter, my wife and I. And we have access to them. I think sometimes I have to remind myself to not be too familiar with the access.
Yeah.
Because in that access, I've seen doors open. I've seen us gain access into spaces that otherwise we wouldn't have. And so just serving.
Yeah.
So simple things. It could be you've been asked to go bring a bag, get watered. Simple things that seem so insignificant, sometimes, most times without pay. But those will unlock things for you in spaces you don't even have.
Without earthly pay.
Yeah,
but you'll always get heavenly pay when you serve.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that is that as you serve, God is no man's debtor. Because you're serving, He's like, I see.
Yes.
And the rewards come in other ways.
Yeah, they're
Because one word from this man to unlock, for someone to consider me is enough.
Is enough.
These
Just
are
one
a lot
word.
of projects.
Yes.
Now, you know, guys, I mean, I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, this is what you're talking about is really powerful. Because many times we don't understand. Because, you know, one of the things that I learned from my mentors is I can either jump up and down to see far, or I can stand on the shoulder of giants. And many times, even for us in business, we don't ask for help, especially for men. Men don't know how to ask for help. You know, it's like you're struggling, you're dying, but it's very hard for you to say, hey, I don't know how to do this business thing, you know? Or we already have our plan. I just want to hear your thoughts, but I already know what I'm going to do. But just that space to say, you go much farther when you follow the slipstream of somebody who's breaking the barriers for you. Huh? And I feel like, I mean, we always talk about Formula One. You know, the guys have understood, if you want to go drive fast, drive behind the lead car. Let him do the work, you know.
He does the work.
The best racers, they wait until the end of the car race. The guy has led, he's done all the hard work.
That's when you move
Now
out.
that's when you move and you move, go ahead. Huh? And I feel like many times what we're trying to do is be the lead car in every situation, as opposed to understanding, I can learn from my boss. I can learn from the owner of this company. I can learn from an older Christian who has a business.
Very true.
And maybe that's why in our church, we're saying we must have these business forums where older people mentor younger people humble themselves and seek mentors.
Yeah.
Because this is how we begin to accelerate. You know, when I look at some of the communities we were talking about earlier, the Asian community, the Somali community, they are phenomenal with mentoring. Many of the times you have a business idea, some older guys will come and say, we'll fund it, but here is how you need to operate.
Yes.
And you just find that because of that honor culture and people understanding following, then the community actually goes faster. The whole community moves faster. And maybe you guys are bringing us on to something that we as the body of Christ need to be clued on. When we talk about fearless business, who's your mentor?
Yeah.
You know?
Who's your mentor?
And do they know that you're your mentor?
Yeah,
And then who are you mentoring?
Exactly.
And do they know who are the young people who are looking up to you that you're pulling up behind you?
Yes.
And you're saying, one of my pastors, he's called Pastor Kev, he likes to say, anyone who I work with, will always accelerate. And he's made that his brand. Anyone who works with me, they will accelerate.
Yeah.
And what a joy. When I hear that, I'm like, yeah, that's what every one of us must have. Huh? It's like anyone who joins my company, anyone who works around me, even if it's a maid in my house, they must accelerate. They cannot stay the same.
You know what mine is? They must drive. Wow. And they must fly.
So yours is your it's not accelerating.
Documents, two documents you must get within a short time.
Yeah.
Driver's license. And why is there a car that you cannot take? Still finding others inspiring when there's a vehicle that can get you there in a shorter time. Two, you must fly. Because like Pastor Noah says, you must be sendable. How we want to send it to Uganda. That is a trouble document that can only cross the East African.
Yeah. Can I also say something, about this mentorship and mentee relationship?
Yeah.
I think the place of grace in this relationship cannot be underestimated as well. Because a lot of times I see mentors, they decide I want to be intentional and this young man, I will mentor them. And then they make one mistake and they're like, this one is hopeless, The place of grace. As a mentor, you must always extend grace. Know that we do not
make mistakes.
People make mistakes, But also for the mentees, extend grace to a mentor.
Yes.
Because you're looking up to them and you're thinking, oh, this person is so anointed and is so good in business. And then they make one small mistake and you're like, you're no longer my mentor.
Yeah.
No.
Especially
This person-
this season of outing.
Yes, yeah. So this person is as human as you are as well. Yeah. And so if they're mentoring you and you notice that there's a mistake that has happened, extend grace to them.
Yeah.
Because if anything, you'll actually learn from the way they deal with that mistake. Yeah. So again, the place of grace cannot be understated in that mentor-mentee relationship.
So show grace to the people you're mentoring.
Yeah.
Give grace to your mentors as well.
Yes.
And what we're really saying in this episode is it's a key kingdom principle, mentoring. It's actually come out in every one of our guests we've had. When we had Auntie Ohome, when we had Pastor Noah, they all talked about, mentoring and the important place of treating your employees as being their shepherd, shepherding the people you work with. And I know we're probably going to have this conversation another time because it's a deep conversation.
It is, yeah.
I mean, you have quite a lot of employees that you're leading now, and I guess your industry has young people as well.
True. Yeah.
And young, talented people, but probably they probably stretch you as well as you're learning to mentor them.
Yeah.
Any maybe quick insights on mentoring the next generation, especially this digitally native, very sharp young people that are walking into our marketplace right now?
Yeah. I think one of the things that I would say is that as a mentor, understand that these people are different in a very different, living in a very different generation, and things are moving very fast. Things are moving very fast. So I think you have to get that in your mind, first of all. So don't expect that they will do everything the same way you did it 30 years ago when you started out, understand that they will do things differently. But even as you do understand that, make sure that you're pointing them in the right direction, because most of the time they will do things differently and they'll end up taking, a path that will lead to destruction, And so I think AI is one of those hot topics right now. We're talking about AI and the fact that AI is taking over, in marketing and in advertising right now. It's a big issue,
You told me quite a few jobs have been wiped out in that industry.
Yeah, I can tell you right now, you go around Nairobi, a significant number of the billboards you're seeing right now, the artwork is AI generated. What does that mean? All the models that would have earned money are no longer earning.
Graphic designers.
The graphic designers, the production houses.
Modeling agencies.
Modeling agencies, and all that.
And that's within the last 6 months, 7 months.
That's within the last 6-7 months. And we don't even know what the future holds because, things are being released, like 2 big AI products are being released every week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think there are 2 things that you can do. You can say, okay, I'm helpless. This thing has taken over that seat. Careers are going to die.
Yeah.
Or you can bring your people together. By the way, the young people have brilliant ideas. And you listen to their ideas. And most of the time, they know more than you, especially when it comes to tech.
Oh, yes.
Most of the time, they know more than you.
Yeah.
But they always need someone to point them in a particular direction.
That's right.
Yeah, so you can be that person as a mentor who is consolidating your team. In my business, we have a session where we actually sit once every 2 weeks and we talk about ideas. Yeah, what's the big thing that's happening in the world, not just Kenya or Africa. Yeah,
global level.
Global level. Yeah, what have we seen being released? And someone will come and say, I saw this thing that has been released and all that.
Yeah.
And we start to talk about how can we leverage that. Yeah, how can we leverage that? How can we be the first ones to jump on that bandwagon and we'll be the ones who are training everyone, in Kenya. Yeah, so be that person, be that shepherd who is actually pointing them in a particular
I love that you're also
direction.
teaching them to be curious.
Exactly.
And teaching them to look out. You're also mentoring them in the process.
Yes, yeah.
Amazing. I think we're in a great place right now as a society for cross-pollination, where we teach the value of structure and some of the things that have worked for years as we learn from the younger generation how to navigate this digital space. Because I think there is definitely an opportunity to learn, and I think this is probably the best time for both generations to realize there's an opportunity here where we can leverage the strengths of the intergeneration. Well, I think there's 4 generations now in the marketplace. There's an opportunity to leverage the strength. There's the guys with the money who own all the businesses. There's the guys who've built these businesses and are still responsible for keeping the systems and the structures in place. Then there's the guys who are executing in middle management and entry-level management. And then there's the guys doing the work on the ground who have all the digital understanding and appreciation of just how we can accelerate. I think this is a brilliant opportunity for organizations to explode in terms of their capacity. One of the things we've done is we are currently in the later stages of an executive assistance organization. The person championing that is my Gen Z assistant. Why? She came in and is like, there's so many busy mid-level, senior level managers who are just trying to figure out themselves. They're good at what they do, but all this other side stuff is falling apart. What if they partnered with some young assistant who can leverage tech and AI, just make their lives easier and churn out things a lot faster. This is Fearless Business, where we talk about the stuff you didn't talk about anywhere else. And here we are thinking and talking about how biblical principles can be applied to leverage our businesses and move our businesses forward with acceleration and accuracy. You see, when we make our businesses about people, that's God's way. That's Christ's approach. And so as we've talked about this, I believe that you've been stirred up. You probably want to share this with someone, or you want to make a comment on our different media platforms. You can do that on WhatsApp. We have a WhatsApp number on the screen. You can do that on our different social media platforms. But we want to hear from you. But more than that, if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. Share this with someone else. Invite a group of other business people either at your church or wherever it is that you're in. Let's turn our ecosystems into spaces of lasting impact and growth, because this is what the call is about. Pastor M, you want to pray for us?
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't we pray? And by the way, as we've talked, maybe you're here, you've never given your life to Jesus. And you know what? The most important mentor you'll ever have is your Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
And maybe you've been listening to this whole conversation, you understand it, but there's something that you realize is missing in your life. You've never actually followed Jesus personally. We'd love to pray for you. And if that's you, I'm going to just lead you in a very brief prayer. Say these words with me, and this is your prayer to God. Dear Jesus, I come to you today
Come to you today
to ask you to forgive my sins
to ask you to forgive my sins
and fill me with your Holy Spirit.
and fill me with your Holy Spirit.
I want to be a child of God.
I want to be a child of God.
And from this day,
From this day,
with your help,
with your help,
I turn my life over to you
I turn my life over to you
to lead me,
to lead me
to be the person
to be the person
that you created me to be.
that you created me to be.
I pray this in Jesus' name.
I pray this in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Hey, listen, if you prayed that prayer, congratulations. We're so delighted for you. Listen, this is what life is about.
Yeah.
Like God gave you that life. You try and lead it by yourself, then you never will achieve or understand why you are created. But when you turn it over to Him, He begins to show you the purpose that He made you for. And we're here to help you walk that journey as a fearless entrepreneur, as a fearless business person. Please reach out to us through our socials. We'd love to send you some information. You can say, I prayed the prayer, and we'll be glad to send you some information, something to help you start to take the next steps. And guys, we really believe that our reformation is coming, that Africa will be different, that this world will be different as God's people begin to understand how to operate in fearless business. So what a joy. What a great episode this has been.
Absolutely.
Victor, thank you so much.
This was so awesome. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all you fearless business people out there, this has been Fearless Business, where we challenge you to go forth and be fearless.